we know that niggas can create conflicts based on ignorance called nigger moments. However, niggas can also create bonds with each other, also based on ignorance. This bonding is called nigger synthesis. Unlike the bonds of friends and family, which are mutually beneficial, nigger synthesis is based on a mutual appreciation for ignorant or trivial things. Now, when a nigger moment collides with nigger synthesis, you get a complete disaster. Remember this equation. You will need it later, nigger.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's back. Yes, boys and girls, lady and mister and lady. We're back with the weekly wrap-up. It's been a long time coming. I know I said I didn't want to do it anymore, but I am back. I'm back with all your favorite weekly stories. I've decided that this was probably around the time where I just started to have that same lack of motivation, lack of, things keeping me motivated to keep up with, things that just kept me away from always having a next episode in rotation or in mind. So I've decided I'm going to just bring it back. I'm going to just go ahead. I'm going to just take a couple of news stories every week, and I'm going to just give you my couple thoughts about them, and we're just going to go from there. I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know how the segment's going to expand, but I'm going to go back to something that was giving me a little bit of success. Yes, that is right. So, like I said a couple of seconds ago, and I'm going to say again, this is the weekly wrap-up. This is your boy Germ. I am your hostess with the mostest, and you're tuned into Kinetic Aesthetic. Now, when it comes to what we're going to be talking about this week, I had a couple of things in mind. The first thing I want to talk about, Diddy. He came out and he pretty much said, R&B is dead. People have had different thoughts. People have had different opinions. I'm going to give you mine. And honestly, you might not be expecting what I'm going to say. So I'm going to just leave it at that for right now. Next thing I want to talk about is Drake the last rap superstar. I saw that promoted on another podcast on Spotify. Yes, there are other podcasts other than my own. No, you are not allowed to listen to them. I'm the only podcast as far as my listeners should be concerned. But I'm going to give you my thoughts on that and why we should sort of prepare ourselves for just a different way of thinking about our rap artists. Not just rap, but our music artists in general. How things are just going to be way different from now on. And last, and definitely not least, we're going to talk about the unfortunate situation that is happening with rapper, let me make sure I say his name right, Quando Rondo, the rapper that was apparently the one, associated with the Chicago rapper King Von getting shot and dying. Well, somebody just tried to kill him, and it's already just showing the worst of the hip-hop community, or at least the hip-hop fan base. And I'm going to give you all my thoughts on that and the other two stories, and we're going to do that right about now. Now, if you're like me and you have sensitive skin that requires that special bit of care, and you need something that's going to work a little bit better than just regular Vaseline or lotion, what you need to do is stop what you're doing, go to Instagram right now, and search up Body Butter. That's BODYBUTTAA. It's made by my homegirl Ashley. It's made using nothing but natural ingredients, and I'm going to tell y'all right now, the shit works like magic. It comes in men's scents and women's scents. She's got Summer Seduction, Vanilla Cocoa, and Baby Powder, and Gentleman's Scents. She's got a whole bunch of summer scents that she's working on right now that are going to be coming out. It's just everything that you can look for in a good alternative to lotion or Vaseline, and it works like a charm. It makes your skin glow, it makes your skin glisten, and it'll last you for a long time. So if you're looking for something that's going to work a little bit better, that's going to make you feel even better, then you need to go and search up Body Butter. Once again, that's BODYBUTTAA. Works like a charm, and honestly, it makes me feel that much better. Now, to lead things off, we had Diddy, who came out on Wednesday and asked a very controversial question. And that question was, who killed R&B? It sent people into a frenzy. It had a lot of different people giving their opinions. We heard from Mary J. Blige. We heard from Chris Brown, who I'm going to talk about, of course. We heard from Summer Walker. We heard from Tory Lanez. We even heard from Kalani. Now, of course, I'm going to focus on Chris Brown's response, but I also want to bring up Mary J. Blige's because she said something that was interesting. She had the point of, we have to remember that when they come in and when they start to do what we're doing, that's when they make it pop. She actually did name drop two artists in particular who she was referring to with this, those being Justin Timberlake and Adele. And honestly, I think that she had a really good point. You have to remember, R&B was, well, I have to remember, I was damn near just being born during this whole time period, if I'm being honest, but R&B was literally at the top in the 90s. You had a whole bunch of just gigantic acts that were just having success. You had all the boy bands, you had Jodeci, you had Mary J, you had R. Kelly, fuck R. Kelly, but you had all these people who were just crazy talented, who were doing crazy numbers, who were having a lot of success. And you have to remember that this was right around the time you had guys like Justin Timberlake who coming with NSYNC. They're still making R&B music, but the fact that they're Caucasian, that they are, it's not necessarily their fault. It's not like I'm not, and I don't want people to think that Mary J. Blige or myself are trying to imply that it was like a active thing that they went for and they tried to do. That's not the case. They just happen, they're both very talented artists. They just happen to make a certain type of music, but the powers that be decided, instead of trying to market it as R&B, instead of trying to give it that sort of, because that can be it just comes down to sort of marketing. It comes down to how do you want it to be presented. If you present someone like, it's the same way someone like Machine Gun Kelly. Machine Gun Kelly, now I haven't listened to any of his new shit, but just the way he promotes himself, the way I've seen him promoted in the media, he must make some type of, he ain't making hip hop anymore. This isn't the same MGK who came out with Wild Boy in like 2013. Was it 2013? Might have been 2011. This isn't that same guy. He's making a different type of music, and he is either making it because that is easier for him to make, it brings him more success, or because that's the type of music that he really wanted to make. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. However, when you are coming in like a Justin Timberlake or an Adele and you're making R&B, like Adele makes R&B, it might not be for who you would think of for the typical R&B crowd or their fan base, but she's making R&B music. And the fact that they don't want to market it as such, for whatever reason, that's a whole nother episode within itself. Personally, I have my own viewpoints on why they want to do that. I get it. It doesn't make it right, but I get it. But that's what they do. And I think what Mary J was really just trying to say was that, yeah, you just have to remember, when they come in, they're going to make it pop. That's why we may have, I feel like we have a lot of R&B artists or people who make music that's very similar or has a lot of R&B elements. They just don't necessarily get called R&B. There's a lot of these rappers that are coming out right now that's damn near R&B singers. Rod Wave is an R&B singer. Some people call him a rapper. I think that man makes R&B. And I'm just saying that based off the little bit that I've listened to him. So it just comes down to how you want to look at it, but you also have to remember it's just sort of natural when the sound comes in, then it gets, because I don't want to call it hijacked, because it wasn't a willful hijacking. When it gets hijacked by the powers that be, things can change. The perspective on it can change. But let's focus on Chris Brown, because that's the main response I wanted to get into. Now, he came out pretty much a couple days after Diddy proposed the question, and he said, R&B ain't dead. Y'all niggas just ugly. And that shit mean as hell. But I also want to say, he's sort of right. The other big difference, the big thing that's changed, in my opinion, when it comes to R&B and the and the way that it's presented, the way that it is appealing to the masses. Back in the day, and up until a certain point, a lot of R&B artists, they were pretty boys, and they just were like it was the way they were marketed. They were all heartthrobs. They were hunks. Pause. They were just the type of dudes who were. They were the type of dudes who you would be having to worry about, I guess, trying to steal your girl. Who all they got to do is just start singing to them, and the next thing you know, you just lost who you came with. But nowadays, it's different, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's more realistic. Not everybody who can sing is going to always look like $1 million. They're not always going to be some GQ world sexiest man, even world sexiest woman type thing. And a lot of times I feel like that's actually the truth. People with the most beautiful voices don't always have the most beautiful everything else. And that ain't nothing wrong with that either. But it's showing a difference, and that might have a big part of why it feels like R&B has fallen off, why they don't have the same success. And that's just because a big part of R&B, of the reason why they were all so huge and so popular, was you had the heartthrob element going for you. You had the fact that they were just mysterious. They were always marketed as being single. Nowadays, if someone's in a relationship, all you got to do is go look at their Instagram. Like, it's a different time. And this is going to go in part to what I was going to say in the next part about the whole Drake and the lack of superstars for the next era in rap. Just, it's a lot harder to promote somebody that's just going to take over the cultural zeitgeist. It's just going to be that big, just across all spectrums type of star. It's not as viable. It's not as easy. It's so much simpler to just have someone that can just be in a nice, reliable pocket. They're not going to get everybody. They're not going to get a whole, they might only have 1 million fans compared to 10 million, but that 1 million is going to be consistent. They're going to be quality. They're going to stay with them. Compared to trying to always chase that crossover appeal, that control of the cultural consciousness, because once you lose that, it's easy to just it's hard to just regain anything. So it's one of those things to where I feel like I get what Chris Brown is saying. And he also wanted to point out some shit about saying that, everybody's trying to make fast food music. When it comes to that, all I'm going to say is, bro, you just came out with a 30 song album. You really should not be trying to talk to anybody about actual fast food music. That's regardless of whether that album is good or not. You can't really sit there and try to make a 30-song album and then try to tell people not to make fast food music. You just got to shut the fuck up on that one. But I do think a lot of it just comes down to R&B is just in a different place. And it's just going to take some getting used to. But it's not a bad place. And I think people have to learn to appreciate that. And they have to understand that shit does not stay the same. Sometimes the girls are going to be outdoing the boys. Sometimes the boys are going to be outdoing the girls in it. Right now it's the girls doing it. And it's because it's a lot of girl power shit going on right now. And there ain't nothing wrong with that either. But that doesn't take away from any of the success that any of these R&B artists are having right now. Brent Faiyaz just dropped a great fucking album. I think people just have to just let music do what music does, because music is always changing and music is always evolving. So we'll see. Music, like R&B and rap, are already sort of getting so intertwined and so blurred to where you can't really tell what is what. So I can't imagine what the next 5 years are going to be like, but hey, it'll be exciting to see. Now for the nigga moment that will never seem to end. We have Quando Rondo and him getting shot at. Over the weekend, I want to say on Friday, Quando Rondo, he was at some type of gas station in California. He was shot at. He was the target. The police have already come out and made it clear that he was the one they were trying to hit. His friend got hit. His friend died. There's already the video of him just having the reaction of him just screaming. It's just dark and it's morbid. It's not something that I would just recommend anybody to just watch. It's not. It gets once you've seen any type of video like this one time, you've seen it enough, because the shit is just it's just hard to even listen to. But of course, Quando Rondo, he was the rapper that was involved in the whole altercation with King Von the night he died. His friend killed him. Well, I've done a video on that. Have I done a video on that? I might not have. But I'm not gonna get too into that. That's a whole another story. The thing about this one, for me, the reason why I bring it up is it's just an example of how it's like there's always this. The Boondocks said it perfectly. Nigga moments are just the worst thing, because they're always some shit that just doesn't need to happen. It's a nigga moment is when a moment just goes way past the point where it needs to go. Like, there was the end point, the natural end point for a moment. A nigga moment is when it just persists on. This shit we've been hearing about this, all the shit that's been going on with him and whatever he has going on for years, ever since it happened. It's been 2 years since the man passed, and we've always heard about him just having to defend himself. We've heard about him talking about how fans have been wishing death on him and everything like that. And the reaction that I've been seeing to this story, it's like all of a sudden, you would think Von just died last week. The way people are just trying to rehash all this out. I just saw a video on TikTok, or I saw a TikTok video of some dude. I guess he's from Von's hood, from O Block. Literally, I guess some type of TikTok challenge where his friend was laying on the ground pretending to be dead, and he was just trying to have an animated reaction. And doesn't this shit get old? Doesn't it get old? Just like, I don't know. I feel like the older I get, I just get less and less amused, or I just get less and less even intrigued, or even wanting to keep up, or even caring about this type of shit. Like, I get tired of just watching dudes be fucking goofies, mocking the dead, just keeping up all this negative energy and shit. It's like that it's poison. It's bad for your spirit. Like, I can't even listen to the music no more. That's a big reason why I'm just not a big fan of Dirk. I can't listen to it. Listening to him and what he's rapping about and the stuff that he talks about, like he's from Chicago. I grew up around it. Like, I've got family that's been living in that city for so long to where that shit just, I'll be honest with you, I don't even like to think about it. People talk about Chicago. I have people that still try to call that shit Chirac. There's a dude at my job that does that. I can't, some people would just find it funny. I don't even find it funny. It's just, I don't even want to be associated with the place. Because after a while, it's just, that shit is just, it's ugly. It's annoying. It's just like we got to grow up. We got to stop doing this to ourselves. And it happens in every major city. Every metropolitan city, they all got it. Even in fucking Utah. Salt Lake City probably has a couple of hoods where niggas get rowdy at. It's a lot deeper than just, niggas not knowing how to act. It's a lot of shit that's just been happening for decades, for shit that's out of our control. Shit that happened way before we were even born or thought of. But I just feel like I'm at a point where we see the answers are right in front of us. Why what we're doing is stupid is right in front of us. So it's up to us to really make the choice of, hey, I don't want to continue on the stereotype. I don't want to continue on these negative connotations. I don't want to continue being this negative stereotype. But it feels like a lot of motherfuckers just don't care. And I don't know. I'm personally tired of it. That's why I just don't even like to even necessarily talk about this shit anymore. But yeah. For the final thing that I wanted to talk about, that is, of course, Drake, and whether or not he, Cole, or Kendrick are going to be the last batch of superstars that we have in the rap game. Now, me personally, when it comes to how I feel about this, I think unfortunately they're going to be the last. Well, Drake will be the last megastar. I don't feel like we'll ever have someone else like him who's able to come through and just have that type of crossover appeal that just unites so many different people and just gives them that type of cult-like fan base. The only person that I can see doing that right now, the only person that's doing something similar to that right now is Bad Bunny. Now, Bad Bunny is a rapper, so maybe you can sort of consider him to be the successor to Drake. But of course, he's not American. It's not the same up here to us. When it comes to Drake and his sort of crossover appeal, it's just what's so special about him is where he's able to just do it all so seamlessly. He can go and make a hard ass rap track where he's just spitting bars with Wayne, make a hard ass R&B track where it's like, damn, he's crooning his eyes out. He can do it all. And I think that plays a big part in it too, but it also just plays a big part, I should say, is he himself. He's got the right look, he's got the right way to market himself. He never takes himself too seriously, but he never makes himself too much of a joke. He has handled his career perfectly. And I will say, I think the other thing that sort of benefited him, and this is the main thing that sort of has played a big part in why he's been able to maintain his level of stardom, he came in right as things were starting to change. Right when Drake started to blow up was when social media started to get bigger and bigger, when it started to become more and less about just pure musical ability and things of that nature compared to, do you have the right image? Do you have the right look? Are you marketable? Are you a social media star? And I feel like he was almost in a way grandfathered in on that. So I think you have to just go in there with that and just have that understanding that Drake is the last of a breed that was dying. Him, Kendrick, and Cole, they're the last of their breed. They're the last of their type, of their ilk. No one else is going to be able to come through and just unite rap fans the way they can at times. Not all of them can. I mean, Drake definitely can be divisive, so can Cole. Hell, Kendrick can too. But at the end of the day, it still feels like whenever any of the three drop, it's an event. It's something that everybody needs to be paying attention for, that you need to be that you got to just, hold on a second. One of the three just dropped. I don't know if we're going to be getting rappers that give us those types of feelings anymore when they drop. And it's sad, yes, but I like to think that it's just representative of the fact that we're just in a new era where it's more so about, can you find, instead of trying to get those 10 million, instead of trying to grab 10 million people's attention and just keep them all occupied and keep them all interested in you. Everybody nowadays is trying to grab just 1 million set of people, that 1 million group. They're trying to just lock those people in. They're trying to keep them interested in them, keep them as their core fan base. And I think that's going to be a good thing in the long run. So I think it depends on your perspective. Me personally, I don't think it's a bad thing, even if we are watching the last of our superstars right now. But some people might feel differently. I think I'm gonna definitely leave that as a question for the poll on this one, because I would love to hear what you all have to say. But yeah, me personally, I don't see anything wrong with it. I think that it's perfectly okay to just have some. I think celebrity worship is not a good thing. And as much as I respect all three of the artists, and I do think they're great musicians, I'm a bit of a J. Cole stan. I don't think that getting to a point where we can stop this idea of just having to. I'm sorry, if anyone has ever seen or just read a Twitter account of a stan account, you'll just see what I'm talking about. It's okay if we can get people away from feeling like they need to be that invested. Because at the end of the day, you fucking don't. But yeah, that's all I got for y'all niggas this week. This, of course, has been your boy Germ. This is Kinetic Aesthetic. And yeah, this has just been a very, very, very weird week in terms of news stories. There was a couple other things that were just weird that I didn't even want to, that I didn't feel like I was going to have time to talk about. The Brittany Griner case, I just read a headline about Dennis Rodman saying he's going to go over there and try to help that girl. You know what? I've given myself time to sit on that one and to think about it. All the more power to him, because you know what? This is the same guy who was in North Korea, who befriended Kim Jong-un, who got close to him. If he can go in, get real close to Putin, get him to just give up Griner and not have us, give up some type of world-class criminal just to get her out. More power to the guy. And you know what? Don't fuck around. Don't open up any envelope you see just randomly laying around. The shit might have anthrax. But yeah, I really don't know what else I can say about a lot of this other stuff, especially this Quando Rondo shit. Let's hope that, eventually some type of cooler head prevails. Some niggas just stop being dumb. Niggas just stop perpetuating this same type of dumbass lifestyle that never leads anywhere. You've already lost so many people to this shit. You need to just drop it all. And of course, R&B ain't dead. It's just changing. Niggas ain't gonna always be looking like heartthrobs. They're not always gonna be making the same type of music. And, genres blend. And I think people just gotta embrace that and let that shit happen. And whether or not Drake and Kendrick and Cole are the last superstars that we see in rap, that's not a bad thing either. People have to just, give shit time, give it space to grow, and just see what can happen. Now, this has been your boy Germ, of course. Again, thank you all for listening. Make sure that you click like, subscribe, follow, whatever the hell it is that you got to click on your streaming platform that you're using to listen to this. Click it. Make sure you stay up to date for when I'm dropping. And I just want to say again, I thank you all so much for listening. You guys keep me motivated to just keep going, to keep this thing moving and thriving and pumping. So, yeah. This has been your boy German. This has been Kinetic Aesthetic.